Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sky FF, Planet Sky FF, the world where everything revolves around £50,000. My name's Serge.
My name is James.
That 50 grand looks way off right now.
Yeah, it's not happening this year, mate.
What rank are you down to now?
I had
you have a red arrow, green arrow?
Ah, mate, I got 30 fucking points, mate.
Wow.
I dropped back from 12k to 18k. However, at the point that I made my overhaul, if you'd have said you'll be at 18k, I absolutely would have taken that. I had 3 what I feel were very, very good weeks before that. So that's okay. You're going to have a bad one. I predicted on this pod last week it would be a very low scoring week. I didn't quite think it would be this low.
I feel like Sky's been worse than FPL for a lot of people.
Yeah, probably.
For me, not the other way around. I scored 34 in this and 30 in FPL.
In essence, and obviously it was only a 2 game day week rather than, we've got one coming up shortly. I think it's 4 possibly. The captains in this are crucial, right? You could have 7 shit scores, and if you hit 4 captains in a game week, you're going to have a really good game week. So the majority of people will have missed captaincy this weekend on both game days.
What did you have on Saturday?
I went John McGinn.
I had Salah.
And it was actually...
John McGinn 5-1 and no goals. He did all right.
It was the right choice. The only 2 players I had this week who scored more than 2 were McGinn and Mount. John McGinn got a tackle bonus.
Oh, fair play.
Very late on to tier 2 tackle bonus. So I did get 8 off John McGinn. Whereas if I'd gone one of the others, I'd obviously already sold Salah.
You must have done really badly elsewhere.
All I had was a goal from Mason Mount. That was it.
Wow. I had my only returns were from Mason Mount, a goal, and Pepe, an assist. But I still managed to score 34, so I don't know how I scored more than you. But I had Salah on the Saturday, and
so you had 12 players,
and
you had 2 attacking returns. That's why.
Yeah, true. I had Aubameyang on the Sunday, but then I had 0 point from Edison, 0 from Suyuncu, 0 from Kevin De Bruyne, who I decided to hold through because I didn't want to waste the transfer. So that's 3 zeros in amongst there as well, and then Trent 2, Digne 2, Gilbert 1. Vardy 2, Sterling 2. Like, it was bad.
Yeah, similar here. I have 0 for Edison, 0 for Suyuncu. Wan-Bissaka didn't play. And then 2s from TAA, Dean, Wilson, Aguero, Vardy, and a captain Sunday from Aubameyang too.
Yeah, madness.
It's the way it goes sometimes, right?
Yeah, I used one more of my transfers. I thought, you know what, I can't keep holding them back. I went from Salah to Aubameyang, and now I've got Aubameyang captaincy cover for a while. I want to get rid of Pepe and look at James Maddison as his replacement. I think Maddison's been doing particularly well. Then on my front line is Sterling, Aubameyang and Vardy. Midfield of Mount, Kevin De Bruyne and Maddison. I feel like it's all right. Gives me good coverage for a while.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with the team. There's 2 I'm particularly unhappy with, which is Harry Wilson, as I spoke a few times, but the move for Cantwell was a move I didn't need to make.
Not with his semi-dodgy hamstring. That.
And I think it's probably more a case of once I shunt off Luca Dean, it might be that I'm moving Dean and Wilson at the same time to allow a move of Kevin De Bruyne and a different budget option in. I think although Cantwell didn't score at the weekend, I felt like if you were going to invest in Norwich ahead of that Friday night game they have with Watford in November, that it was probably get on Cantwell now ahead of a decent run of 5 fixtures. They just look, unfortunately, not good enough at the moment, Norwich.
Should we do some questions? Because we keep this pod nice and short, and we've had quite a few questions. I don't even know how many, but there are plenty, actually. Shit, it's about 3 swipes of a finger. Yeah.
Go on then, let's do some cues.
A 3-swipe tweet.
We'll look at more planning like next week.
Yeah,
ahead of the game week.
A 3-wipe tweet is like a 3-wipe shit.
The thing is with this game, a little bit, I'm not meaning to put people off the pod, but it's international break. Just switch off from this.
Yeah, there's no
really no point doing
price increases.
Any overthinking. You could do a lot of planning now, and one of your key players gets injured over the weekend. So for me, it's a complete switch off really until we go again next Wednesday. Let's
do it. Let's do some questions. We got some good ones. Our friend Paul at Sky Player in FPL. Paul, hope you're doing well, mate. I did see that you were at the old West Country meetup at the weekend, so hope you didn't get too wasted. Do you find playing the Sky game is affecting how you approach FPL and or vice versa?
No.
Me neither. And that's not actually because of anything to do within the games. I just think FPL has 85 to 90% of my mind space, and Sky still only has 10-15%. So I don't give Sky enough headspace to let it affect my FPL game.
I think as well with Sky, knowing that you're probably not going to make final decisions till you see the first team sheet of the weekend as well, allows for the open-mindedness of late decision making. Whereas in FPL, you kind of need to be, depending on your circumstance, you need to be watching out for the price changes, things like that. There's nothing, that's what I'm saying, there's nothing that I can do to affect this squad over the next 10 days or so until we go again. So you're right. I think that I'm switched off from this at the moment. I mean, it's not a bad thing. Like those who Sky and a lot of the listeners, the Sky game will be their main focus. I mean, my advice would be similar. Like, I don't think now, unlike when you're thinking for 10 days over the last one about the overhaul and stuff like that, this feels different.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can really do. There's no point making early moves. I just think international breaks, there's this one and there's another one in 4 weeks. Particularly for Sky players, are a good time to get some headspace and probably more assess like what's gone bad, what's gone well, what's worked, what hasn't worked, analyze your bad decisions, your good decisions, and it's probably more of a learning experience. It's a good time for reflection.
Yeah, for sure.
To answer Paul's question, no, not really. I think, and it was Paul that's, to be honest, this podcast is part happening because of Paul, because Paul came on with us in the summer and said, play the game, the way your chip strategy planning for FPL and all that, it will show some benefits in the Sky game. So I'm quite a conservative FPL player anyway. So for me, it does suit me down to the ground. I am really, really enjoying the game. Okay. Are you still?
Yeah, but again, it's only getting 10 to 15% of my headspace at the moment. Mark Edworthy at Sky Podcast, he's got a nice little Sky Podcast as well, wants to know, he's got a question that's a vice versa. What would you choose to take from the Sky game to FPL and from FPL to Sky? Just while giving some props to at Darkest Jungle Carl, who's jumped in. He reckons Sky is better than FPL for BPS, but Sky is better than FPL for BPS, but the vice captaincy option in FPL is a bit better, just in case your captain doesn't play.
That's a whole debate you could have a whole podcast on. What's good about the Sky game is the clarity. One of the things we scream about FPL is, in terms
of BPS or just in general.
Well, price changes, BPS.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I like the fact that there's no limit to the number of people that can get BPS, and it's based on performance rather than an arbitrary figure. We spoke on the main podcast about how stupid it was that McGovern ended up with so many BPS conceding 5 goals. You wouldn't get that kind of craziness. Or it would be based on saves made, which is credit where credit's due and it's deserved.
The FPL bonus system is quite a complex machine, and the complex machine is not very good.
Yeah.
But it's worked out on algorithms of certain performance factors per game, whereas this is actually a lot more simplistic and it's just easier to understand. Like if my guys haven't made tier bonusing, then I can very quickly find out why, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And it's all available. If you're on like Will's Fantasy Football Hub or something, okay, I was 12 passes short from player X from hitting tier 1 of passes. Or, okay, he made 1 tackle in the game. So, it's easier to monitor the performance of individuals for this particular game rather than trying to fathom how, the BPS system in FPL, you can look at full time and your players hitting bonus and you log back a couple of hours later and haven't got none, which is really frustrating. It does go the other way sometimes, of course.
Yeah,
but
true.
That's very frustrating. How things can change after the final whistle is a real annoyance. And we spoke previously on I think on Monday's podcast on the People's Poll saying about the clarity on transfers, like why is Kevin De Bruyne's price not gone down?
Yeah, I mean he's dropped 25% of his owners. It's mad.
It's not lost value yet.
Nah, but I don't know, to be honest with you. Maybe it's to do with dead teams, live teams.
Well, we think it's to do with a lot of wild carding and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true as well, potentially.
But it didn't feel like there were too many people wild carding last week, other than you.
Yeah, no, but then obviously as a lot of people hit the wildcard button as soon as the international window opens, so maybe there's a lot of people that have sold him from Saturday to Sunday potentially. You
There
never
probably
know.
will be more on this week for that, yeah.
FPL Pasty. I was going to call him Pasty there for a second, but then I looked at the profile picture and it's a nice Cornish pasty. I wonder if it's steak and onion or chicken and leek.
No.
Who knows?
Ask the boys who were at the West Country meet up on Saturday.
Yeah. There was another dad dilemma at the West Ham game on Saturday. Where my boy's sitting and the guy next to him, he had a pie in the first half and a pie in the second half. I was this tempted to teach my son the song "Who Ate All the Pies," but I didn't. But I thought against it. But talking about pasties and pies, and I don't like this because it's going to depress me because of the ranks. I'm casually playing the Sky game and sit around 3,000.
Good lad.
I drift in and out of it. I look at my FPL team every day and I'm 500,000. Is it a case of less is more? Is downtime actually good? Can you overthink these things?
Well, you can't rage in if you rage in this. Like we spoke
done.
a little bit about
you'll blow out too
rage
early,
transfers
right?
on Monday night's main podcast.
Yeah.
You can't rage in this. You can go to the limits and fucking minus 16 if you want to in FPL. You're not going to do that sort of thing in this, really. You can't. Because there is a limit on what you can do and you need to... I think in theory, there's not really... If you make one transfer a week in FPL, in theory, you've got more transfers in Sky.
Yeah.
In theory.
But then you got your wild card,
But
free hit.
it's the options of the mini wild cards and that kind of thing that you don't think about. I feel like, and I might be wrong in saying this, but Sky often feels like you're making 1-for-1 transfers.
Yeah.
I haven't seen, and perhaps this is something that will go on more over the course of the season. Say like I was talking about getting Cantwell win for Wilson that would allow me Dean for De Bruyne for Dean after I'd gone from Salah to Vardy. I don't feel like I'm seeing too many people that are making those kind of combination moves.
Transfer combos.
That needs perfect timing and a lot of bravery to be making through that sort of move at this stage of the season, I think. So I think people just generally aren't making those sort of moves. The guys who are more experienced than us can tell me if I'm wrong.
I'd be fascinated by that. If you are listening to the show and in the first 9 technically now 10 game weeks of Sky Fantasy Football, you've made more than one transfer in any given game week, do put it out on Twitter and tag us at PlanetFPL Pod or at Surgeon Shah and use maybe the hashtag SkyFF Combo. There we go. Because I'm fascinated to know if people have done combo transfers in this, because we haven't really, and I would be interested to see why we don't. And I think it's more built into the grain of FPL culture to store up one free transfer and then make 2 moves and then fuck it, why not chuck in a -4 and do that? So there's a little bit more strategic thinking potentially there.
Yeah, agreed.
Who got the assist? Who were they?
Oh, it's a goal. Who got the assist?
Oh, yeah, that guy. What's his name? Tom. Shout out to Tom. Tom has asked a question. He used the transfer to buy David Silva for KDB this week, thinking with his FPL head-on that no price change means I could take the punt. I still don't think it was a bad idea for Sky, though, was it? Or was it too FPL focused?
I don't know, because we advised to keep him both, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I was lucky in FPL that I used my wild card, so I didn't need to. But
I strongly felt for this it was a keep, personally.
Yeah, I think the one thing with KDB, though, is I'm not as convinced that he's going to be solid and back in game week 9. I think because of his injury worries last year. I think they're going to want to be a lot more cautious and careful with him.
Can they?
Well, what do you want to do? Risk him, rush him early, and then you're fucked. Because if he has a longer term injury, we'll be presenting Liverpool with the Premier League trophy at Christmas.
The international break off.
Yeah, but it's still not that long.
They need him, don't they? It's no good storing him up if suddenly they're going to Anfield and they're 12 points behind and then get beat there. Then like it really is finished, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that only takes a couple of draws and Liverpool keep winning, and that's the position they'll be in with like not difficult but an awkward fixture at Palace. Let's say. Let's
rephrase what Tom's kind of thinking about. I suppose because of the lack of price change, he's thinking jump on, jump off. Whereas and that's what you could and are more likely to do in FPL because you keep getting more transfers and there's a wild card and whatever else down the road. Here, I wouldn't do a jump on, jump off strategy, although we did talk about it. So,
well, what I spoke about last week was a move that I didn't think most people would be able to make because most people would already have 3 premium forwards. Was the idea that if you were going to come off De Bruyne and it was going to allow you a great 1 week captain, which you probably would have missed if you did do it. It was 2 moves as well, right? Because there's not many teams knocking about with only 2 forwards. Yeah. But say you did have 2 forwards and it was going to have allowed you to go De Bruyne to Mane and back, for example, then I think that's all right because then you would have put the captaincy on Mane, for example.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was 2 moves really to take him out and get the value in the captaincy because there's no real captaincy options in the midfield at the moment on an overall. Yes, I captained John McGinn on Saturday, but I was without Liverpool essentially. So it was a choice for me of McGinn or Alexander-Arnold. And I went for McGinn, which was nearly the wrong choice, by the way. It never went through my mind to sell De Bruyne. And I think for me personally, even if I knew he was out of the Palace game, I'd keep him still. I might be wrong in saying that.
I would be. All I'm thinking about is my move that I made last weekend from Salah to Aubameyang. And if I would have never made that move to come back to Salah, I only made that move because I know now I'm going to keep Aubameyang for 5 or 6 game weeks at least, if not longer. And I wouldn't have made the move with the jump off and jump on, jump off strategy there, which is interesting. John Chappell asks a question. Soyuncu and Vardy is 13.7 million. Reality is, I haven't actually checked this because he does then say who scores more FPL points. Maybe these are FPL prices.
I think that's an FPL question.
Okay, so then the pricing's fucked as well in
Yeah,
this question.
forget
So we can just completely forget it.
Cheers, John.
Yeah, 13.7 versus 13.3. Okay, let's give John a bit of time. Take the value out of the equation. Soyuncu and Vardy or Pereira and Maddison?
Soyuncu and Vardy?
Yeah.
Or Pereira and Maddison?
Soyuncu
or Pereira and Maddison?
Yeah. The Leicester.
Well, I think I'll be captaining Jamie Vardy in the next 3 game weeks, so it's Vardy for me. Yeah, I'll think about it, but I think next Saturday I'm going to captain Jamie Vardy at home to Burnley, and then I've got the Friday night game at Southampton, and then there's the Sunday game at Palace. So I think I'm captaining him in the next 3 game weeks.
I've got Jamie Vardy as well, so I feel all right with that. Let's talk about...
And Soyuncu is great value.
Yeah.
They're one of the best defensive sides in the league at the moment, Leicester.
He's still in my squads. He's 6.2, Pereira's 8.5.
Pereira's a beast in this, though.
Maddison is 8.3. So Pereira, so that's a 16.8 versus a 10.7 and a 6.2. So 16.9. So there's actually only 0.1 between them.
What's the point difference so far between Pereira and Maddison?
Pereira's 56, Maddison 39. Big difference.
That is a big difference.
Considering it's only a 0.2 difference.
Now,
Pereira's all right.
You could argue at the moment that Maddison's returns are under what they should be. Pereira seems to have the odd streaks, but he comes up very well in this game. Just jump up Pereira's stats for a second.
Yeah, if I can. So last week it was only 2 points, but prior to that was a 17-point haul. 2 points for playing. Goal was 7 points. Clean sheet 5 points.
He obviously scored tier 2 in the previous games against Newcastle and Tottenham. And there were some other bonuses in there. So you need to take opening day against Wolves, pass tier, tackle tier against Chelsea, tackle tier against Sheffield United, tackle tier against Manchester United. I would argue that Pereira is a good alternative to perhaps for Wan-Bissaka owners or Luca Dean owners.
Dean's on his way out, mate, for Pereira. I think I might even make that transfer now.
A lot of us in the Sky Twitter community, if we can start calling that a thing, have probably got Soyuncu. It's just, do you feel brave enough to go for the 2? But actually, as we highlighted on our main podcast on Monday night, there is a long run of very good Leicester fixtures. You could make a case to have Pereira, Soyuncu, Maddison and Vardy.
Yeah, I really think you could. Let's talk about another team that we spoke about just briefly before we started the show. The questions come from Tartan Espanol. It's like a Scottish person living in Spain or a Spanish person living in Scotland. Tartan Espanol.
Or maybe it's just Portuguese.
Tartan Espanol. Why would that be Portuguese?
Taking the piss, mate.
I know you are.
What's the cue?
But I still want to know the logic in the taking the piss.
The first country that came out, I could have said Maltese.
Right.
I could have said
Fair
anything.
play. Maltesers. Is it good to have a double up on Mount and Abraham? Now, Mount and Abraham are such good value in this game, right?
Yeah, I challenged Suj 10 minutes before we started recording to tell me who the top scoring player was so far. And it took you about 6 guesses, didn't you?
It did. I did need a bit of guidance into which position. And then when we got to forwards, I went through all the premiums and then we decided, yeah, okay, fine.
Tammy Abraham now has 74 points after the 13-point return against Southampton. This followed a 5-point return against Brighton, despite blanking because he hit shots tier 2. Obviously, he had 4 big chances that he missed in the game. A blank against Liverpool, and preceding that was 52 points from the previous 3 games.
Yeah,
this
phenomenal.
feels like it's happened rather quietly. Chelsea are in kind of a third of the way through a very good run of 6 fixtures. He's also the best value for money player in the game at the moment. 8.92 points per million is decent.
Yep.
Ahead of Pookie at 8.46, who's 0.5 cheaper, and ahead of players like McGinn, Henderson, Siyunku, Tammy Abraham, 8.3 million.
Scored 20 points against Wolves with a -3 in there. 2 for an own goal, -2 for an own goal, and -1 for a yellow card.
If you go to Abraham, you're probably going to end up staying around about Abraham's value. Essentially, Pookie's the only one really worth looking at a cheaper price in terms of the forwards. I've gone for free kind of power at the moment, and I'm trying to leave that point where, yes, I've gone Salah to Vardy a couple of weeks ago, but I want to be in that position that I can move it back.
Yeah.
For when I really feel like I need that Liverpool coverage again. I don't know, but there's certainly scope to suggest you can put in people in and around Abraham's value at the moment. Yes, you can go both. Absolutely. Mount and Abraham.
Mount or Hudson-Odoi. And that, again, is coming from Tartan Espanol. Is that my accents there? I'm trying.
It's absolutely
I haven't done any for a
shocking,
while,
mate.
to be honest. I haven't done any accents for ages. Mount or Hudson-Odoi. We had this debate in FPL. Now, FPL, there's a good solid million between them in price. I have no idea what these boys are priced at in this.
Mason Mount is
7.3.
7.3. Hudson-Odoi is 7.8. This is not a conversation.
No, I agree with you
go
on
with
that.
Mason Mount.
Let's move on.
Plus, Mount's ownership now in the top 1,000 teams is just under 67%, and I will suggest will continue to keep rising, owned by over 22% overall. Hudson-Odoi obviously offers you a differential. It might be one that I would consider from Harry Wilson to add him to Mount.
Yeah,
as
okay.
a possibility.
Couple of questions coming in from Andrew Ferguson. What are you enjoying most about Sky compared to FPL?
The challenge, I think I can't really answer that question until the full season's gone.
Hold on a
And
second.
I know
What day of the week is it, mate? It's Tuesday, isn't it?
this is Wednesday when it goes out.
Okay, fine, but we're recording Tuesday. I'll come back to my point in a second. What are you enjoying most about the Sky game?
What the fuck's that all about?
I'll tell you in a second.
Oh, okay. I can't really answer till the end of the season because I've got a personal strategy of holding quite a few transfers round to where I believe I can make them work around doubles and blanks and that kind of thing. I think I'll have a very good end to the season. In theory, I should. And I'll probably be too far away and too far off a template team to be able to win the game. But it's probably not until then. That's the exciting bit for me. It's the planning.
Really?
Yeah, love it.
The most enjoyable bit, every time I open the Sky FF app on my phone, the £50,000 makes my bollocks tingle a little bit, really. I'm a degenerate gambler. And the reason I mentioned the fact that it's Tuesday, mate, is straight after we finish recording, I'm going down the fucking corner shop to buy 65,000 Euro Millions lottery tickets.
Oh, you're going to buy 65,000 Euro Million tickets?
It's like 180 million or something tonight, and they have to give it away. It's rolled over so many times that somebody tonight is going to win it. So if you're the only bastard that gets 3 balls and no one else gets any more than that, you win.
If Clash of the Correspondents doesn't happen on Thursday, we've won it.
Yeah, exactly. Where do we come from all of a sudden?
Do you know what? We'd still fucking record, wouldn't we?
Yeah. I definitely would. It reminds me of back in the day, I can't remember the show with Harry Enfield and that was the sketch show.
The Harry Enfield show.
Was it the Harry Enfield show? No, Wayne and Waynetta. Do you remember that? Wayne and Waynetta? Yeah. They used to go to the post office counter, collect their benefits, turn around and then be at the corner shop counter and be like, give me 150 lottery tickets. Yeah, that's going to be me tonight. Euro Millions. If you're playing Euro Millions, good luck, but tough shit because I'm going to win. 180 million, mate.
All right, cool.
FPL Mad Dog at Rare Pegs on Twitter. Can't decide if having a bench on FPL is better than no bench on Sky.
I think
it's one other thing to think about, isn't it?
I think I'm coming round to the idea of no bench is preferable. And I say that because, again, I'm quite a conservative fantasy football player, I would say. So I'm one of these who's kind of risk averse to people like Mahrez, I would say, for my FPL team, because I just don't like that threat. Unless he's absolutely terrible. I would want to know if Bernardo Silva gets his 6-game suspension.
Yeah,
Mahrez is getting thrown in, right? I need something like that, the clarity that's going to make me feel, okay, I can make this move. And with Sky, again, you kind of tend to avoid these players, I think. I don't really know what the ownership numbers are on Mahrez, for example. I'll have a look in a second. But you tend to, I feel, avoid these players. You go with the safer choices. There is nobody in my 11 other than potentially Harry Wilson who on the majority of given game weeks is going to be a rotation risk. Aguero, I guess. But Aguero is still going to start the majority of games.
Even when he comes to the bench, he fucking scores a penalty after he's allowed to retake it for a stupid level of encroachment. Couple more questions, James, and we're going to wrap up Sky FF for this week, because if I don't make it to the shop by 7:30, I'm not going to get a lottery ticket. FPL Boffin, what's everybody doing for the Friday night Norwich fixture, which is on the 8th of November? Norwich at home to Watford. It's time to get Deulofeu, isn't it?
Just interesting. If I can take a step back, Murray's ownership in the top 1,000 teams is a third.
33%.
323 of the top 1,000 own Riyad Mahrez. That's really surprising.
Wow. Interesting.
93 of them own Bernardo Silva.
I think a lot might have bought him in the last week with KDB's
I think
injury.
there's a lot of people in the top 1,000 who have only got about 8 transfers left, is what I think.
Yeah, true, potentially.
Norwich Watford, what are we doing for it? That was from FPL Boffin, was it?
Was from FPL Boffin, indeed.
I think we're doing nothing.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I mean, if it was anyone else other than Watford, it might consider it. What are we going to do? Get Danny Welbeck, Deulofeu, fucking hell, Troy Deeney if he's fit by then? No. Obviously non-starters. So I think you just bypass it. If you've got Cantwell or Pookie because you've gone down that road, then, just captain them and be done with it. If you haven't, no way I'm wasting a transfer on that.
Yeah, and with Norwich playing the Saturday before as well, away to Brighton, it doesn't really feel like a
double up option.
There's not a great way of manoeuvring that, to be honest. No. There's no Friday night game that week, so there's nothing to come off of really to get that extra fixture out of it. You might want to look a little bit further back because they play on the Sunday of the 27th. So this is the one where people talk about the 3-for-1. So I guess in theory, let's take an example here of, say, Tammy Abraham. If you own Tammy Abraham, plays away to Burnley on the Saturday.
26, right?
On the 26th, you could go Pookie for Manchester United at home. Then you've got Pookie for Brighton away. You would miss Abraham away to Watford.
Forget that. The team that conceded the most goals.
And then you've got Pookie on the Friday night, and you could go back to Abraham on the Saturday at home to Crystal Palace. I'm trying to think of examples where that would be better and works out.
Going to struggle.
No, I mean Vardy really, but then you've got your captaincy problem for Sunday, November the 3rd, the day after they play Brighton. That's the sort of one where you'd look at and go, he's still an away fixture for Chelsea, and then you get 3 fixtures out of Pookie, and in theory two extra games if you're making that on and off move.
Maybe is the answer to that. And Dr. Bob
probably it just doesn't feel right.
No, Dr. Bob is the last question, James. How many transfers you made so far now? 2. I've made 3 so far, so I'm down to 37. And we're down to, you're down to 38.
I'm down to 38, and I'm not going to think about it till this time next week, and I might consider making some moves. One thing I am concerned about at the moment is I have people in my squad like Dean and Harry Wilson who are badly underperforming. Good night, Manchild.
If you're watching on YouTube, give him Manchild the bird. There you go. See you later.
Why is this turned off?
He's taking the piss.
No, he's not, but it needs to restart now. I didn't restart it. There you go, mate. We might have missed 10 seconds of me giving you the bird. There we go. Interesting rundown for Sky FF. We'll be back next week with Planet Sky FF, where we'll be going into a bit more detail coming into game week 11 in Sky.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It's 2 ahead of 2. Whatever it is. It's 9
I'll tell you what,
in
if
FPL,
that's one thing I could change, I'd match up the game weeks.
Game weeks.
Yeah.
So there we go. Hope you had a nice quick listen. Hope your game week, whatever it was, the one that just passed, was better than mine and James's, because 30 and 34 here
It must have been.
is not
My game week
pretty.
rank was about 330,000 or something. We think there's about 900,000 to 1 million players.
So there's a lot of people that
make
did
me
worse.
concerned about the 2/3 of people that did worse than my 30 points.
Yeah,
How have you managed that?
Well, mental, isn't it, really? So there we go. Do stay tuned for the rest of the week. If you're subscribed to us, then you'll be getting all of the podcasts and audio delivered to you. If you're not, do hit subscribe wherever you are listening. Tomorrow, we're coming at you with a Clash of the Correspondents with @TheTinkerman Dara, who last season was our Fulham correspondent, Fulham flying high under Scotty Parker this season. And then tomorrow at some point, being Thursday, we're going to put a tweet out asking for questions for a big, massive, huge Q&A special. FPL related, non-FPL related, anything related. Off we go.
There'll be some bizarre shit, I'm sure.
Exactly. And that will be coming out at you on Friday. So do stay tuned for all of that. Other than that, ciao for now.
Cue music, man, child.
The Fantasy Football Show.